mynews.studio.
Picture this. In 2025, a Storm Chasers podcast is outdrawing a celebrity interview. What's fueling that kind of shift?
That's quite a scene. Just to orient us, today's date is 2025-12-12. There were millions of podcasts now? Yet only a few ever make a real splash. Why do you think so many shows quietly disappear, while a handful just take off?
The numbers are clear. For every podcast that makes it big, thousands go silent. Some never get past episode 3. Others fade after the buzz dies down. The old goal was straightforward. Start a podcast, build an audience, maybe change your life. Now, though, just having a microphone and opinions is the bare minimum. The shows that actually last tend to get 3 things right: a focused topic, a specific audience, and a format that matches how people want to listen or watch now.
So it's not enough to just turn on the mic and chat. What do people actually say they want from a podcast these days?
A lot of listeners say they look for episodes packed with action steps and deep research. They want big industry shifts broken down into what they can use, not just general talk. A clear narrative structure matters. Think setup, tension, takeaway. And the shows that hold people's attention blend data with real stories from creators, not just back and forth chat. Basically, our goal today is to reverse engineer what makes those shows work and give people a map to pick topics and formats that actually have a shot at growing in this crowded space.
Let's talk about the topic arms race a bit. Remember when 2 friends could just talk about their lives and still attract listeners? That's not really happening now, is it?
Not anymore. The time when you could just chat about anything is gone. Discovery in 2025 is all about focus. You've got true crime, self-improvement, personal finance, mental health, travel. Each one is a clear lane. The tension? If your topic is too broad, people don't find you. Too niche, and maybe there's no audience at all.
Can you give us some examples of that kind of specificity in action?
Sure. Instead of just self-help, you see things like micro-motivation for busy professionals, a quick Monday reset, for instance. Or, instead of broad money advice, it's mindful money moves, where finance and mindset overlap for a smaller group. Even tech podcasts are splitting. You'll find ones focused on AI in the wild, showing how AI changes daily life. The best shows hit the intersection of a clear niche, an emotional hook, and a recurring problem like post-grad panic or climate anxiety.
So, is the core test something like, would a random listener instantly know who this show is for?
Exactly. If you can't answer that right away, you're probably casting too wide a net.
Looking at the Apple Podcasts top 10 for 2025, there's a real mix: news, comedy, true crime, science, politics. But there's a pattern underneath, right?
There is. It isn't about genre so much as DNA. Every top show has a clear promise. Maybe daily news, maybe solving a mystery, maybe changing a habit. The hosts are distinct too. You know if it's a comedian, a journalist, or a scientist. And whatever the format, there's a sense of narrative pull. Even shows that are nonfiction feel like a story unfolding. Cases, transformations, political developments.
So for someone launching a show, the point isn't to mimic the style, but to borrow the structure. You figure out the promise, tie it to a distinct host, and deliver on that, episode after episode.
Right. Think about the expectation you're setting, whether it's a news update, a solved case, or a changed habit. Build every episode around that expectation.
Let's dig into why true crime and narrative drama keep topping the charts. What's behind their staying power?
A lot of it is psychological. Suspense, unanswered questions, those gray moral areas, they pull people in. True crime and narrative podcasts use a slow build. Bit by bit, you get evidence, twists, cliffhangers. Even outside of crime, you see this in health scandals, personal journeys, or investigations. The structure, mystery to investigation to revelation, makes people binge episodes.
So does that mean any genre could use that story structure?
Definitely. Whether it's policy, entrepreneurship, or psychology, if you frame your content as a story, from mystery to investigation to payoff. You keep people engaged.
What about self-improvement and science podcasts? I'm thinking of Hoberman Lab, Mel Robbins, Peter Attia. They're everywhere now.
Those shows work because they offer clear, evidence-based advice. Listeners are overloaded with information. They want step-by-step protocols for things like focus, energy, weight, or mental health. The winning approach: start with a real story or problem, break down the science, then offer 3 concrete steps or actions.
So making science practical, not just interesting.
Exactly. The best shows take complex ideas and turn them into actions people can use right away.
Let's talk formats. Podcasts aren't just audio now, are they?
No, not at all. By 2025, YouTube is a core podcast platform. Spotify and Apple have video too. And we're seeing a rise in micro podcasts, episodes under 5 minutes, which follow the trend of short-form video.
So creators face a whole set of choices: what topics, which formats, how long, and where to publish.
Exactly. The most successful shows work in layers. A deep, weekly flagship episode, like an interview, a documentary, or a panel, plus tight, short clips or micro episodes to pull in new listeners. This hybrid approach feeds search, social media, and broader discovery.
And what about the classic formats? Solo, co-host, interviews, panels, documentaries?
Each has upsides and downsides. Solo shows can scale but depend a lot on the host's clarity. Co-hosts might be magnetic or might drift into pointless chat. Interview shows benefit from guest audiences but need a strong editorial hand to stand out. Panels can be shareable but need good moderation. Documentaries have the biggest potential but require the most research.
So how do you figure out which format fits?
Test your idea. Choose the format that plays to your strengths and fits the density or emotional weight of your topic. And don't be afraid to mix things up. Hybrids like narrative intros with interviews or panels reacting to a pre-reported story often work best.
Let's get into white space. Where are the promising but not overcrowded niches in 2025?
True crime and self-help are packed. But areas like alternative living, van life, off-grid, storm chasing, gig economy diaries, day in the life podcasts for niche jobs, ASMR, blockchain explainers, and speculative what-if science shows are seeing real growth. For example, a storm-chasing podcast that mixes weather science with field audio, or a gig economy show just for rideshare drivers, or a science series exploring possible futures.
So, the best bets are at the intersection of topic, audience, and format, especially when the stories are personal and not told anywhere else.
That's right.
Quick note on money. Ad reads aren't the main way to earn anymore, are they?
Not in 2025. Podcasters are turning to memberships, premium feeds, live events, courses, and brand deals tailored for their own audiences. Listeners are wary of generic ads now, and brands want results they can measure. The way forward is to connect monetization to the core promise of your show, like gear reviews, coaching, or event planning that naturally fits the content.
So, having a sharper topic and format actually makes earning easier and feels more genuine.
Yes, it's less like an ad break, more like an extra service for your listeners.
For people overwhelmed by all the choices, how do you actually pick a podcast idea that stands a chance?
Here's a simple framework. First, who's it for? Focus on serious creators and small teams, with media companies as a secondary group. Second, what's the promise every episode must deliver? Third, which format delivers that promise best? Fourth, how will you create tension and resolution, like a mystery that leads to a clear outcome or a problem solved with action steps? Start by writing a 1-sentence description and sketching out a 3-episode mini-arc.
That gives people something concrete, a starting point for their own podcast journey.
Exactly. That's the way to stand out and stick around in podcasting, especially now.
So, to wrap up, the real key to podcasting in 2025 is matching sharp topics with focused formats and the right audience, and supporting it all with smart monetization and strong storytelling.
If a storm chaser can win at podcasting, maybe it's time to look for your own overlooked niche.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into where podcasts are headed in 2025.
Thank you for tuning in. This episode was brought to you by mynews.studio. Give it a try for free.